So Jonah Hill directed his first movie and it's called Mid90s, and I really like this movie, so I felt inclined to review it even though I'm a few weeks late. It is a solid debut for Hill about a kid growing up in the 90s, and what this movie does really well is it really captures the feel of the 90s, especially just with the way the kids dressed and the way they talked. This movie follows Stevie, played excellently by Suljic, as he befriends an older group of skateboarders. This is what I loved about this movie. It seems so real with how desperate he was to befriend these kids, despite the terrible influence they were on him. They went to a bunch of parties, smoked, drank, and did some seriously stupid things. There's this one scene in this movie that impressed me so much, and it's where Stevie is talking to Ray about the other kids in the group and their past, along with his past. They're the kind of things that you don't tell people that's happening in your life, but it really does define their character and who they are. You really get to see Stevie grow up in this movie and learn how the world works. I cannot give enough credit to Suljic and his performance in this movie, and also Jonah Hill for being able to get that performance out of such a young kid. The rest of the friends were actually non-actors. None of them had acted in anything before, and all the performances were solid. Lucas Hedges is also in this movie as Stevie's older brother, and he was great as usual, and man, he is in everything in the past few years. He was in Lady Bird and 3 Billboards last year, and now he's in Boy Erase, Ben is Back, and now this movie, all in the same year, and that's just insane. Katherine Waterston is Stevie's mother, and she's fantastic. Even though they both get very little screen time, you really get a sense of the family's relationship and history. Ian beats up his brother really bad and is kind of brutal. He's really just not a good kid at all, but when you hear about his upbringing, you kind of understand it. The mother's relationship with Stevie is very fleshed out, even though you only really see it in a couple scenes. That's all they needed. That's how well done the family dynamic was. The scene when Sonny and Hedges are sitting on the couch playing video games really stood out to me, and that, once again, I give all the credit to Jonah Hill as a writer of this movie. You can really tell he put all of his heart in this movie. The script was so well written, giving every single character a voice and an important role in Stevie's journey. I do wish there was more time in this movie to really get into the consequences of Stevie's actions. Some of the things that happen in this movie really deserves more time to focus on, and I honestly could have used another 10 minutes just for this. I even could have used more time with the family life, and that doesn't take away from anything I've said before. All of that was great, but if I got a little bit more, because that was some of the most interesting stuff in the movie, a little bit more would have helped make this movie even better than it is. They had just enough in this movie to get their point across, but I do wish there's more time to really get to see the aftermath of all these bad decisions that Stevie makes and how it shapes him in the future. On a technical level, he'll make some creative choices that work and some that don't. On one hand, the choice to make the film 4:3 rather than the standard 16:9 or 235:1 was great. It only helped me get into the feel of the 90s. There are also some very strange choices with sound in this movie, particularly this one scene towards the beginning. The camera was like at the end of the hallway, and towards the end in the background you see Lucas Hedges like working out in the background doing push-ups, and you hear him as if the microphone was like just right next to him, even though the camera was really far away. And since they decided to make this like a 4:3, with the camera, it felt like you're using like a 90s camcorder. It just felt like the sound wouldn't work like that, and it just didn't fit. There are also some strange moments when a character was talking and you hear the ambient noise in the room, but as soon as they stop talking, it just is silent. It's like the air was just sucked out of the room. And when they started talking again, or a different character started talking, you hear the ambient noise once again. I just don't understand these choices, and like some of the moments where like the sound completely drops out, they work really well, but at times it seems overused. There might be a really good reason for this that I just don't know, but it did bother me, and it's just a very small nitpick. At this point, I'm grasping at straws, because I really like this movie. I don't have many problems with it, besides the fact that I could have used a little bit more time just fleshing out the consequences and just this weird sound thing. Honestly, the fact that this movie left me wanting more is better than me sitting through a movie, staring at my watch saying, can this please be over, or just like cut out 30 minutes and it would be better. I'd rather me wanting more like I did with this one. The more I think about this movie, the more I actually like it. I really connected to this movie, and it honestly is like in one of my favorite movies of the year right now. And just go check this one out if you guys can. I'm so excited to see what Jonah Hill directs next, especially with Sonny Suljic. I want to see what role he takes next as well. Make sure you guys all subscribe to this channel to catch more reviews like this. I also saw Overlord with this movie as well. That's why I have the Overlord poster up, which, it doesn't really fit the other ones. But you know what? I have it up on the channel as well. I just recorded that review. So both these movies are up on my channel. And also the Talk Movies podcast is also on the channel as well. So subscribe to see all of that. I will have a Talk Movies episode later this week. We're actually going to be talking about TV. So it's going to be talking TV this week instead. So subscribe to the channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review.